Hello everyone. We always talk about very complicated stuff related to our metabolic health, about different supplements, how they affect our body, how they work in our body, and stuff like that. But the comments that we receive from a lot of our viewers are astonishing because, and actually understandably, a lot of times they're too complicated. We really have to go back down to basic. Today, we're just trying to do just that. Before we talk about anything else, let's talk about what is the major macronutrients. When we talk about macronutrients, we mean carbohydrates, fat, and protein. Carbohydrates are the primary fuel for our body, the same way petrol or gasoline is a fuel for a car. So when we consume this macronutrient, our body uses it primarily as a fuel, just to burn it, to keep our body warm, and to provide us with the energy we need for exercises and for our central nervous system, such as brain, any activity in our body that basically requires energy. Carbohydrates should usually be and constitute around 40% of our daily intake of calories. So assuming that we have a normal average person, we consume 2,000 calories, carbohydrates should be around 800 calories divided by 4, that 200 grams of carbohydrates we should usually use per day. What are carbohydrates? Rice, bread, pasta, oats, fruits, anything that contains sugar. These are basically carbohydrates that we consume. The second macronutrient is fat. Fat should also constitute around 40% of our daily intake of calories, which is around 800 grams divided by 9, because 1 gram of fat is usually 9 calories. Around 90, something less than 100 grams of fat we should actually use. Always been told to be very scared of fat, and it's been demonized by our doctors and a lot of literature, and even in the news and media, when we read about fat, we've always been told to be very, very careful about that. But fats are not really as bad as we're usually told about. Fats have many functions in our body. For instance, they are a secondary source of energy for us. They keep our body warm, protect our internal organs. They actually facilitate the absorption of a lot of vitamins in our body, and also they help synthesize and produce a lot of hormones such as the testosterone and estrogen in our body. So they basically have a pivotal and very, very fundamental role in our body. But what's very important is for us to understand the lipid profile of different fats, because fats, it's a very complicated subject, but chemically they are composed of omega-3, omega-6, omega-9. They're saturated, unsaturated, and we have trans fat. There's different types of fat that we have to understand, and that's a different subject that we will cover separately. But the most important thing is that good fats, they will not be helpful for you. They also could lower your bad cholesterol and could actually contribute to your longevity and help you to have a healthier lifestyle. The last but not least macronutrient is actually protein, which helps our body makes muscle, which is critical and very vital to our well-being. Needless to say, proteins are extremely important as part of our diet because they help to maintain and build our muscles. They help protect our skins, helps actually our immune system, and so many other pivotal and significant roles in our body. There are many sources for protein, as you know: red meat such as lamb, beef, seafood, nuts and seeds, chicken, eggs. All of these are sources of protein that we basically consume. One very important aspect of protein is that you should know the sources of protein that we consume, they're not always 100% protein. For instance, if you use beef, it also comes with the saturated fat that we have to consume from it. I mean, it's inevitable. If you consume beef, you're also getting the saturated fat. If you consume seafood or eggs or other type of stuff, you're also getting fat. Although these are the major sources of protein, you also will be getting significant amount of fat from them as well, which is why it's sometimes recommended that you use protein supplements as a source of protein, which gives you only protein that your body basically needing without the additional fat that you might be a bit detrimental to you. So later on we will cover this, but having too much saturated fat could increase your low density lipoprotein, LDL, which is bad cholesterol. This is why there is just a limit to how much of these sources of protein we could actually consume. And the difference between different types of protein is usually in the amino acid profile. As you remember, previously we discussed, same way a house is made up of building materials, a protein is also made up of amino acids. Difference between a beef protein, a whey protein from dairy, or a protein from egg, or protein from plants plants or seeds are in the amino acid profile, or actually also collagen, which is another type of protein, the difference between all of these proteins in the amino acid profile. So it's very important for us to understand what type of protein our body needs the most, which one is the most bioavailable, and which one is the most nutritious sources of protein that we should basically use.